Yeah, so guys, and welcome to episode 4 of the £10 Sorare Road to Glory. So in today's episode, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you can buy players that you know you can sell on a lot faster, or what to look for when looking for players that you'll be able to flip within a few days, rather than being stuck with a bunch of trash players for weeks not being able to sell them. And in every episode, we do give away £10 Sorare Credit, just so you guys can go and follow the journey along with me. And yesterday's winner is going to be Trashy CR. So we'll send him over £10. And if you guys want to enter today's giveaway, make sure to drop a like and leave a comment of your Sorare club name. If you guys are interested in signing up to Sorare, I do have a referral link down below. Once winning 5 cards on the bidding market, you will get yourself a free limited card. But please do be responsible, because you can of course lose money as well as make money. So what we're going to go through in today's episode is just talking about what sort of players you want to be buying if you want to be able to flip them probably within 24 hours. Because any of you guys, I guess, who've been keeping a close eye on this Road to Glory will see that I've bought players, even in episode 1, that we haven't been able to sell yet. Now, if you're working on a low budget, this is never ideal. Now, we did cover in yesterday's episode about how we might be struggling to sell players because it's a weekend, and a weekday is normally easier to sell players than a weekend. But there's also a few other things you can do. So the first things you're not really looking for if you want to sell players fast is going to be the red cross. This is because this player, one way or the other, is not eligible. It will turn a lot of people off from wanting to trade with them. I can show you right here that the players with the red cross aren't traded with much by throwing them into one of the databases. We can put this guy in here, and we can see that he actually he did get a bit of a sale, but I believe he's probably just transferred. Yeah, because he would have been issued and then he's just transferred. And obviously, because he's just been transferred, he's had only 1 sell in the last 4 days, and it was significantly lower than what he'd been previously. So obviously, if you're trying to buy a player and flip them instantly, and they've only sold on once in the last 4 days due to probably a transfer into a lower EFL league, I'd imagine, then that's not going to be something good when selling the card, because you can have a lack of people demanding the card. The second thing you're looking for is them to have played the most recent game. How we can see if a player's played the most recent game is by just clicking on their profile and scrolling down. What you'll be able to see is that guy did not play his most recent game, but this guy played his most recent game. Now, the reason that this is demanded is when people are building their SO5 team, are people going to want to go and pick someone for their team that didn't play last game? Even if they were maybe injured or had a red card suspension, your average player probably isn't going to look into that, which as a result means if you have DMPs, you're probably going to struggle to sell the player as easily. Let's go and load this guy up right here and show you how many cards he's sold in the last, I guess, while, whereas the other guy. So other than bids, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's had 12 sales in the last 2 weeks, which means just averaging just under 1 sale per day. Whereas if we go and look at this guy who is playing every single day, or every single game week, I would be very surprised if he does not have a significant amount more sales. And there you go. You can see it right here. I don't know if I count through them, but that's potentially even double the amount of the other player. And the reason for this is there's just a lot more demand for people to buy him for their team. Whereas if people are going to go and buy someone who hasn't played their most recent game, especially a bunch of not playing a bunch of games, then the only people who are buying this are people who are investing rather than people who are building their teams. And finally, what I would say is just make sure that they're playing in the up and coming game week, because if someone obviously has 5 L5 scores, that's brilliant, but if they're not playing in the up and coming game week, then you're going to find them a little bit harder to sell. For example, you'll find probably Asian League and MLS players a little bit harder to sell than the Serie A and the Bundesliga, because the Serie A and the Bundesliga are playing. Although every now and again the Serie A and the Bundesliga will have cup competitions, and they don't count for Sorare. So again, that would decrease the demand. So just make sure they're going to play a game. And you can do this by just throwing the player into Sorare data. I believe even the free version says this. So what you do is you throw them there, you then press SO5 scores, and what it'll do is it'll tell you the next game week they're going to play. You can go and see what the game week is by pressing play and then going to live, and what it'll do is it'll take you to this. Now, the midweek game weeks are the even number, and the weekend game weeks are the odd number. So for example, if this guy was going to go and play on 3-4-5 and it said 3-4-4, that's nothing to worry about, because that's going to be the midweek game week, whereas he'll be playing on the weekend game week, which is what we want. It'd be the worry if it said maybe 3-4-7 there, because we then know he would be missing next game week, and as a result there wouldn't be as much demand for the card. So hopefully these tips and tricks help you guys a little bit with buying cards that you could be relatively certain that you should be able to flip within the next 24 hours, rather than getting stuck with dead wood that you're just not going to be able to shift for about a week. With all that being said though, cards that take a while to sell, you can generally get some great deals. We've had cards where we've won for like 14p, who we flipped for 50p. It just took maybe 2-3 days in comparison to cards like some of the Bundesliga players I flipped within 24 hours. So maybe leave a little bit of your budget there for cards that take a little bit longer, but ideally you do want to be trading with cards that are being flipped, 10 times a week, just so then you'll be able to get in the card and then out the card sooner rather than later. And also we did manage to sell on 2 players between last episode and this episode, so let's go and show you what we managed to sell on. So the first player we sold is Philip Foster. We did go and pick this guy up for £1.97, I believe. There you go, £1.95 would have picked out for. And we've gone and sold him on there for £2.85, a little bit less than what I wanted to sell him for, but otherwise I would have really had no money for this episode, so I've gone and sold him on here. And Pascal Stenzel, we actually ended up selling for a loss. The reason we sold him for a loss is because he did actually DMP his last game, even though, we kind of wanted a bit of a bench, coming on as a sub or maybe a starter. The reason I wanted to sell him for a loss as well, because there were like 8 of him listed for 95p. Right? Normally I can be here for about an hour, 2 hours, sending over trade offers. Generally, the first trade offer I sent today, I got a buy, and we have got some absolutely amazing deals. So, let's go through these deals and show you guys what we've managed to pick up. So, the first player is Ulez Cisaloli, who we've gone and picked up right here for £2.05p. And we're going to go and list him up for £3.28. So, that was the first deal I got off this guy, which was very, very nice. We then get to the next deal, and this deal was amazing as well. Got this guy, Raul Gustavo, for £2.05p. He is going to go up for... No, he's not. He's going up there for £3.97. So that's going to be almost a £2 profit on him, which is massive. Bear in mind, 3 days ago, £2 was just 20% of my budget. They got a nice little discard player of Kang Yai-chan. Picked him up for 14p, going up there for 55p. We then got ourselves Wilfred Rivera, again another player, got at 14p, going to go up for 55p. We then got Alti Suzuki, who we picked up for 27p, and he is going to go and get listed up for 68p. We then got Leon Wu Yon, who we picked up for 27p, and we're going to go and list him up there for 56p. And we finally got ourselves Vladimir Pijovic, who we picked up there for 14p, who's going up there for 55p. So what is quite nice is we only spent £5.07p, but the profits from this is £4.97. So we have nearly almost every player there, on average, doubled, I guess it was worth double what we bought them for. So the total profit is now going to be £28.30, but I do only have 33p to my name. So unless we can get some players to sell, hopefully I will be able to have at least some players sell by the end of the episode. That is going to be a short buying period, but a really successful buying period. Bear in mind, we basically have added another another quarter of our total money to work with as profit already. But as I said, in some days I would generally spend, the best part of like an hour and a half before I get my first, bite as such. And in this one, we've managed to generally get the first trade offer. So it really just shows it, it's all about the luck or the draw. So we are on fire this episode. No more than about 5-10 minutes after we sold that player for £4. Gonna pick ourselves up another 5 deals. So let's go and walk you guys through what we've managed to get. So we managed to get ourselves a Adam Saladana. We managed to pick this guy up for 27p, and he is going up for 55p. The next person we managed to get was Ezekiel Herrera. Managed to get this guy at 41p. He is going to go up for 82p. We then got Lee Won Woo, but picked him up there for 55p. And we are going to go and sell him on for £1.10. Then we got a penultimate player, Kim Hae Seong, who we've gone and picked up here for 27p, and he's going to go up there for 55p. And the last player, Han John Moo, which again is another player that I have investments in, so must be a decent player going into the Asian League starting up again. Picked him up there for 41p, and he's going up there for 96p. This means that the overall profit on these players is £2.07, which is not bad because I think we only spent... I think we only spent about £1. I think we only spent about £1.80, £2. So basically doubled our profits once again. Got £2.40 to work with. So we'll see you guys. We'll see if we can get any more deals for the rest of today's episode. And another sell / buy in today's episode. Akito Suzuki, who we picked up earlier in today's episode for 27p. Managed to go and sell him there for 69p. So nice little 40p profit. Might not look like much, but I mean when we're getting 5-6 deals at a pop, obviously it adds up very, very nicely. Otherwise, how else would we be on the old 30 quid? Another little deal. Nothing too crazy. Just a Bilal Kadim. Yep. who we picked up for 14p, who we plan selling for 55p. So just another 40p there, nothing too crazy, but another deal, and back up to 25 cards on the Road to Glory. So we picked up what is going to be the last deal of the day, and that is a Christoph Clara setting on. We got him, picked him up for 96p, and we're going to go and sell him on for £1.50, so a nice little 50p profit there to end on the episode. We also did manage to go and sell on another one of our cards, and that was this guy, who we went and picked up for I think 54p, and then went and sold on for 82p. So not too bad right there to end off the episode. So right now we've got ourselves about £2.80 to spend. We've also got ourselves 24 cards, so yeah, looking really nice. So going into tomorrow's episode, the market is going to be so good, because the market does rise between a Tuesday to a Friday due to people building their teams. So some of these guys who are currently playing, for example, this guy can have games. Who else could have? Scottish guys could have games. Super League guy who will have games. Bundesliga player who will have games. Not only will they either rise in price, but they also can rise in value. So a nice little market to trade on. So thank you very much for watching today's episode. And in tomorrow's episode, we just expect loads and loads of trading. So rather than, I guess, showing a lesson, what we'll hopefully do is show the difference between today, where we have managed to get a fair few deals, probably about 15 odd deals, but going into tomorrow, where we should be able to where we should be able to buy a lot and also manage to sell a lot within the exact same episode, just due to the massive increased demand between a weekend to a midweek.